Hello and welcome back. I'm that Jack girl, and today is day 10 of your summer savings finance journey. So, today we're going to talk about writing down your debts. And what does that look like? How can we determine how much we owe if we don't write it down, if we don't open up those bills with those envelopes, those collection calls that we're receiving, if we're not answering those, if we're just sending them to voicemail, maybe not calling the people back? How can we determine how much we owe? And then how can we positively make sure that we're creating a plan to pay back our bills or to pay our bills off? If your goal is to get out of debt, if your goal is to lower your debt, if your goal is to lower your monthly payments, what do we need to do in order to start that task?
Budgeting is not as hard as you think it'd be, and a lot of people overcomplicate it. So let me show you how we do our budget. First things first, I get out my planner and I flip to whatever month is upcoming so I know what we have going on, whether it's birthdays or trips or whatever. That way I can actually budget to our life and plan accordingly. Then I open up my computer, and no, you don't need to buy someone's budgeting template or anything like that. If you have a Google Sheets account, they already have a template. You can put your numbers in it, and it's free. Why spend money on something that's supposed to help save you money? I've never gotten that. This is the blank template. I do have some of our numbers in it, but I just copy and paste it every single month. Things I always plan on: rent. We have a couple subscriptions. Those are always in there. My husband and I are both currently in school to get our master's degree in nursing. So we are trying to cash flow school. So the way we're doing this is by living way below our means, but still comfortably and able to do things that we want to do. We live off of his income, and then all of my income goes towards savings, investing, and paying for school. I do change this based on what it looked like the last month, but I always budget for these categories. Home always stays the same. Transportation stays the same unless we're traveling a lot that month and know that we're going to have gas, or if our car insurance bill is due, whatever. Groomer expenses, whatever. Travel, I need to up this for this month because we are taking a trip with Brandon's family. No debt, which is such a win. School, we do not owe anything this month. And then our eating out budget is $230. Sometimes we go a little bit over, especially in the summer. Gifts, sometimes this is higher or lower depending on how many birthdays are this. We'll just go in then and edit on what I'm planning on. So this is the planned category. And then once you add in your transactions, when you actually start spending things, it goes into the actual and then the difference. So I can show you our July so far. We have $182 left in our budget this month, but so far we've only spent $297 on groceries. We do need to go on another trip before the end of the month. So we have $128 left over to spend, so on and so forth. Whenever we get paid, or like at the end of the week, I will put in all of our transactions from our spending that month, and then boom, it literally tallies it all for you. It's all a template that's already made. You just input your own numbers, and it is a game changer. And the first few months that we did this, I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize we were spending that much. You don't actually run all the numbers. Like, those little transactions really add up. And this month we hopefully are gonna hit our goal of our lowest spend month in Lord knows how long. It's so fun for me now, honestly, like planning things out and achieving our financial goals. And I think more people need to talk about it. Financial literacy is so important, and I've learned so much from my parents and so much from social media. I just want to share what I know. I know I don't know everything by any means, but I'd love to share what I do know. Here's a little free resource for you. Let me know if you use it.
Now, today we're going to talk a lot about writing down our debts, but let's recap on the last week and a half or so. Last week was all about strategy, how to strategize, how to identify the debts that you owe, how to strategize on how you're going to pay those debts, how you're going to strategize, how you're going to keep track of those debts by creating a financial calendar, a vision board, a financial vision board, by getting the help of an accountability partner. That accountability partner, as we discussed, should be someone that you can trust, someone that will let you know when you're about to spend money on something that you need versus you spending money on something that you want. That accountability partner will do just that, keep you accountable, hold you accountable for the goals that you're setting in place. Setting your goals, that's something that we talked about last week. We talked about a savings account, what type of savings account you're going to open, if you need to open more than one savings account, if you need to separate your savings money versus your regular checking account, the account that you use to pay your day-to-day bills, your utilities, your rent payment, car payments, and things of that nature. We also talked about how long will it take? How long will it take for you to get out of debt? That's always the burning question. Would you rather? We talked about creating a would you rather scenario. Go back and look at the previous video for that. We talked about a SMART plan and what that SMART plan means, right? It has to be something that's realistic. It has to be something that's specific, something that's timely. Go back and look at day 4 so that you can figure out how to create your SMART plan. We talked about creating an emergency fund, right? So we talked about all of that last week. This week so far, we've talked about, the insurance policies. When was the last time that you reviewed your insurance policy? For your car insurance, if you're a homeowner, for your homeowner's insurance, if you're a renter, for your renter's insurance, you should be reviewing those insurance policies at a minimum once per year, but if you have an opportunity to review it more often, then absolutely review it more often. We talked about unplugging those small appliances that you're not using because it could be adding more to your utility bills, to your electric bill. We talked about free fun. We talked about, if you're a solo person, something that you can do for free, right? And it doesn't cost a lot of money. But also too, if you're looking for something for a date, right? Those free things. If you have kids, things to do with your kids that are all free.
This is the easiest way to budget your bi-weekly paycheck. I suggest using the calendar method. You're going to choose 2 colors, one to represent each payday. Map out your calendar for the month you're working in. I use pen to do this, but you can use the colors to do that too. And then plot your paydays. Now I use my monthly breakdown as a guide for my calendar. It just makes it easier to know what bills fall on which day. Basically, you're going to plot out all of your bills for the month. I always color my paydays green because green is the color of money. You do what works for you. And you can see on this payday, I'm actually using yellow to highlight what bills will be paid for that payday. So that means that payday is going to cover all of those bills. I'm using orange for the following payday, and I'm going to highlight all of the bills in orange that this payday are going to cover. Having your calendar set up like this makes it easy to go ahead and do your spending plan for each specific payday. You don't have to try to guess what's going to get paid. Another thing you can do is ask ChatGPT to set out a calendar for you based on your transactions. If you want to know more about how to do stuff like that, just comment chat down below. Hope it helps.
Now, one of the simplest ways to kind of figure out what you owe and to try to create a smart plan for paying those things off or paying those things down, one of the best things that we can do is create a budget. So it's very easy. All you need to start with is a piece of paper and a pen. You don't have to have anything elaborate. You don't have to download these fancy spreadsheets. You don't have to pay all this money for the latest and greatest guru that you find online or something that you see in like bookstore or something like that. You don't need anything fancy. Just simply a piece of paper and a pen. Now, don't get me wrong. When you have those fancy spreadsheets, they do assist with, creating the guidelines. So they do assist with things that you don't necessarily think about. You think about, your rental payment. You think about your mortgage payment. Those are fixed costs, things that don't change, right? But with those credit card debts, if you miss a payment, it's likely that the credit card company, they're going to add a late fee, and that late fee is going to be added to next month's payment that you have to make. But with earlier videos, we talked about keeping a calendar that you can write down your debts. You can tell the date that your debts are due. You can also include that same information on this budget that we're going to create. So just make columns. Debt A is due on whatever day of the month. The dollar amount for debt A is this month. You may even have a separate column for the balance, the payoff amount. Then you go to debt B. Debt C, same thing. So if you keep a running tab of how much it is that you have to pay on a monthly basis, that's where you'll find, an eye opener. I have an extra $50 left after I've paid all of my bills. So rather than just spending that $50 on something that you want versus something that you need, you can apply that $50 to a debt that you're looking to pay off. Now, when we think about paying off our debt, it's completely up to you. It's completely up to you as to like which debt you're paying off first. Some people like to pay off debts with the highest balance. Others like to pay off debts with the lowest balance. Some like to pay off debts first with the highest monthly payment, whereas some like to pay off first that debt with the lowest monthly payment, the longest term. So it all depends on you and what makes sense for you and your family. Again, keeping you accountable, something that you can keep up with that's not going to overwhelm you. It all starts with a plan. I'm a firm believer, if you write it down, just start there first. So let me know down in the comments what you think about the budget that you're going to create. Definitely want this budget that you're going to create. We want it to be something that you can kind of stick with. That's not going to, you create it this week and then by next week you're done with the budget because you're frustrated. Again, this budget is something for you. It's not for a family member. It's not for a friend. It's not for, a work buddy. It's your budget, and it's something that you have to hold yourself accountable first, along with that accountability partner. But it's something that you can create and you can change it, right? Because this is your plan. So if you'll include down in the comments what your thoughts are, share with the community what was difficult for you. Share with the community what was eye-opening for you, that eye-opening experience. Something that can help others, something that you can pass on and teach to, someone else in our community. Thank you as always for staying until the end, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.